tell the guys, we're thin but mighty. Anybody that's ever asked about our program over the last few years, I've been saying the same thing. And
Person's always been a tough football team. One thing about us is we're going to play tough. We love to hit. Hitting is like preached, and it's like the gospel in person.
I don't want to have all these rules and all these things that you got to try and memorize. Just the word all in. All in.
Football is one of the greatest sports in the world.
It was certainly emotional, no doubt about it. It always is between us and Ocean City.
I don't like losing. The kids don't like losing. And I don't want to lose to the same team over and over and over again. We want to win a state championship.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Cal One-on-One right here on Cape Atlantic Live, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. I'm your host, Nick Kosko, as we roll on with our 2025 high school football season previews. With me today is Harbor Township head coach Rob Davis. Coach, good to talk to you once more. The season's fast approaching. It's been quite a whirlwind for you during your tenure here at EHT. You were hired very late going into year one, and then year two, finally basically a full slate of an offseason. 6 wins last season. Now going into year three, more of a foundation has been laid over at Harbor Township. I can only imagine the roller coaster ride you've been on lately.
Coach, thanks for having me on the show. And thank you for what you do in South Jersey football. And I'm very proud to say you're an EHT alumni. I am proud of that. But what you do and promote the programs and the players and all that, everybody is very appreciative of what you do. So this is an honor to be here.
I appreciate it. When you look at this past offseason, Coach, just how do you sum it up now, laying this foundation, considering the success that you guys had last year, over 500? I know it's been pretty much up and down for EHT. Haven't made the playoffs since 2021. It's just been, it's like there's a glimmer there, and then we know how high school football cycles work. You have a great group of kids and then a very young team where you have to rebuild again, obviously, with schedules changing, realignment, all that good stuff. How can you sum up this offseason right here?
First of all, we do have great kids at EHT. I love EHT, the school district. I do, and it's led by our outstanding superintendent, Dr. Gruccio. We have an outstanding principal and Mrs. Carigno, and my AD, Coach Rutledge is just great. They're all three of them. That's why I came here. They all have the same vision as I do, and students first, and that's very, very important. And their vision is the same as mine, and it just makes things really fun and to doing what they want to do, and I'm doing it, and we have a great thing going here at EHT. But the off season, it's funny how you said that, how late I got hired. I got hired in May, the end of May, where everybody's building relationships and their work ethic is going nonstop, and everybody's undefeated and everybody's excited about the season. And the EHT kids didn't know who the coach was. I didn't know who they were. It was like that TV show Blind Date, And when I met them, the end of May, we were on the football field 2 weeks later and doing what everybody else was doing, with no foundation behind it. And it was tough. It really was tough. Me coaching for many, many years in my other spot at Barnegat, I never went through something like that. And I just couldn't wait to, coach them on the run. And we did. We love those guys. And I'm very appreciative of that first class because they set the foundation of what we were doing during the season. But the off season that we did really is the reason why we went 6-4. And it's really important to us, the offseason. We're building relationships.
Yeah.
We're creating a standard of work ethic and play. Everything we do. I have a 100-point all-in system that we do, and we reward players because I want to be able to say what player is doing this and what player's here. There's different levels. So if a parent says, my son's working hard, I'll say, yeah, that's the standard. We're all working hard. But how hard is he doing it? We monitor the kids in the weight room, and the off season isn't just a weight room. So we record everything, their attendance, their lifts, and all that. So we give them points for just about everything they do that's positive. The weight room, we endorse our multi-sports. So if you're playing a sport, you're getting X amount of points plus your lifts. Academics, because they're student athletes. So if they're getting good grades, you get more points. If you're failing classes, you get subtracted. Just like if you are suspended, you get subtracted points from your all-in points. Registration paperwork, football events, community service, communication, fundraising, all the above. The bottom line is when you're doing something positive, you're getting rewarded certain amount of points opposed to others. And then I put it all together and you can see the pecking order. So we have a rank in our program. So we have 117 kids, and I could tell you who's first, who's second, who's 50th, who's 60th. And the kids, when they play football, it's a privilege. It's not a right. So when they get on the football field, there's a big progress of work that they led up to. That's why you win on the football field. If you're doing it right off the field, you're going to do it right on the field.
Did you notice a big jump in community involvement? I guess the buzz around the program again, when you go back to year one, 2023 for you guys, struggled on the field, didn't have much time to really put a plan together. And then last year, it was kind of a culmination of like, okay, yeah, if we have a full slate of an off season, we do our all-in system, we actually build something off the field, it can lead to success. And obviously through 10 games last year, you guys went 6-4, and then that leads you into this year. Do you notice more of an involvement with the kids in terms of how they're, I guess, participating in the weight room, academics, what they're doing in the community, and how, I guess, again, going back to that buzzword, buzz, like, is that buzz back now going into year 3?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of history at EHT. There really is. And we'll talk about my coaching staff in a second. I'm sure we will with that. But when I first got hired, the first thing everybody said was, if the kids only stayed at EHT. And that's all I heard. So when I got on the phone, when I got hired, I called up the 8th graders. They already made decisions. Like, are you kidding me? So these kids are being talked to all off season. There was no coach. So I'm calling up the kids that are 8th graders in our system, and the Catholic schools are talking to them, and they're, the vultures are out there, the choice programs and all that. So that was the everybody always talks about, if we only had those guys, and we play that fantasy in our heads and all that, but we want to do this. Let's embrace who wants to be here. And the door's always open. And we're going to coach our kids at EHT, and that's that. But here's the 2 stats for you. My first year, there were 15 players that were playing in other programs, freshman to senior. And they're pretty good ones, too. And we don't want to mention names of those guys and all that, because you probably know they're pretty good football players. Last year, we had 12. So we're cutting it down a little bit. This year, I'm sure it'll be like 7 or 8 and all that stuff there. But we also have kids coming back, which is great, too. But we can't control the uncontrollable. We want to make sure that we have our standards in place, and we have a bunch of kids who are doing it right and that want to be here. And that's what excites me, the coaching staff and the community, is that we're building something special here. And that's that.
And speaking of building something special, you mentioned the history with the program. And again, that goes back to a lot of experience on the coaching staff. You're pretty self-explanatory with all your success over at Barnegat before you ultimately took this job a couple of years ago. I'll start with this one first. Coach DeRosa, Tony DeRosa, is back at EHT. He was at Hamilton for a long time, but former head coach at EHT, spent the last decade plus over at Hamilton as an assistant coach. He's back this year in black and silver as your offensive coordinator. So cool to reunite with Coach DeRosa. I know you've told me that previously. So what's it like having him back on staff and just getting I don't want to say the old school mentality of EHT back, but bringing a guy like that back into a program where he's in the building and now he's finally back on the sideline sporting the Eagle logo.
I'm going to say something. Nobody knows Tony DeRosa better than I do. He's one of my better friends that I've had. We were college teammates. I am so pumped that he's with us for 30-something years. We've coached at different places. And we've always said, hey, imagine if we ever coached together. We do that. Well, we are right now. And I love Tony. Tony's a loyal guy that has standards that he wants everybody to be in. He's very dedicated, devoted to the student athletes, the winningest coach at EHT. And we know he had a lot of success here with a continuous teams making the state playoffs and just having an overall great reputation throughout the state and the country, putting a lot of kids into colleges. Him coming onto our staff, I've gotten better. Because I hire smart people. And we have great people. Tony, which we all know, I kept it a secret. He's back, and he'll be the offensive coordinator. It's tough for me because this is the first time I'm never calling the offense. So I really do look forward to Tony. He's running our offense. He's running our offense with little wrinkles here and there, what he's doing, but he's doing a great job with that. But the addition of Tony to our staff and Steve Scanlon, I have 2 coaches that were head coaches and successful head coaches. Steve and Tony were both coaches of the year during their careers, and also turned programs around and have great reputation. Steve, he does my weight room. He is my social media guy. All I do is say click, and it goes on my thing right there. Steve Scanlon is one of the most respected coaches in the state of New Jersey. And he's going to be a head coach again. And I want to just make sure that I have him as long as I could and feed off of that stuff. I always say he's a 15 years younger version of me. He's got so much youthfulness and energy, and we're on the same page. Him and I, Steve, we speak every day for 45 minutes. We have common prep periods, and we talk football and the program. And a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is because of what Steve endorses and promotes and all that. But Steve is a great family guy, great communicator, and he gets a lot of those guys, but he does so much into the weight room. He's our defensive coordinator this year. He was a college coach at Alvernia, but I'm so proud to have Steve and Tony as two guys that's been there, done it as head coaches. So that just makes myself and the staff and the program that much better. I have some alumni that I'm proud of, and you know them too. Joe Borden and Dan Jacoby, 2 guys that are also teaching in the school that coach multiple sports. I love watching Joe Borden coach baseball for Coach Carmichael. He's wrestling coach, and then Dan Jacoby was the basketball coach. But they're 2 guys that are just been there, done it, and it means a lot to them when they're coaching because they've been there, done it, being college athletes and just outstanding coaches. So Joe Borden will be my O-line, D-line coach. And Dan Jacoby is not only my freshman head coach, he directs our special teams. Excellent communicators. I have a lot of respect for him. Good role models with that. Joe O'Neill will also be on game day with us. He's a running back, defensive back coach who also works in the building, very positive in the community with that. We have Jaden Abrams, who I'm real excited. He's an alumni from Hamilton, played at Millersville, just graduated, 4,000-yard rusher, 40-something touchdowns, has a presence to himself. He'll be our running back coach and our safeties coach. So we're really excited about him as a new addition. Tony DeRosa coached him. So, he's kind of knows that he's going to be doing it, and seeing those 2 work on the same level is pretty cool. We have Jeremiah Simmons, another alumni who's a police officer at EHT. Great communicator, works so hard in the community. If I ever had a question about a player, he knows it. He knows it because it's important for him to know these people. He's a great role model, and he does a great job on the field. He's my receiver defensive back coach there. We have Anthony King, who was a police officer at Barnegat, really big into the weightlifting, helps out Steve Scanlon. He's a great guy. He's does everything what the program needs. The kids are really rallying around him, and having him in the weight room is important. And we have another guy who's going to be coaching for the first time, Michael Weidman. He's an EHT alumni, graduated a couple years ago. He's going to call the offense for the freshmen. It'll be wide receivers and DBs. And, of course, I'm going to hire one more coach. I can't say who yet, but we're going to do that in a couple of weeks with that. But my staff, I'm so proud of. You got to love your players, and they do. And they're always trying to make sure that everything is going to be better for our guys. But I'm really proud on how our weight room, we get 5 or 6 coaches in the weight room when we're doing our workouts. Not too many programs can say that 5 or 6 coaches are in there, not just standing around. They have their groups that they're doing. So when you come into the weight room with Steve Scanlon and Anthony King are running it, there's a lot of intensity, a lot of eyes on it, and there's a lot of coaching going on, not just on the football field.
That's a very glowing review of your staff, and we're looking forward to seeing it on the field here in 2025. We'll dive into some of the players and, of course, what to expect this fall for the EHT Eagles in just a sec. We'll take a quick break. This is Cal 101 right here on Cape Atlantic Live.
This broadcast is brought to you by Harbor Jiu-Jitsu. Located in Egg Harbor Township, Harbor Jiu-Jitsu is more than just training. Both adults and kids can gain practical skills that give you real confidence, build physical and mental resilience, and you can join a team that's here to help you grow. Featuring no gi, wrestling, and MMA classes, Harbor Jiu-Jitsu is the most dynamic gym in South Jersey. For more information, check out harborjujitsu.com.
So, Coach, when we look at 2025, of course, these teams go in waves. You had a pretty much, let's just call it a bare cupboard, so to speak, because of the, lack of time you had on the field back in 2023. You get 6 wins last year, more established in 2024. 2025 is interesting. But again, we were talking about it, with a young team, and it's like you have a team with experience, but also they're very young. You lost some seniors, but and then now you need young kids to step up, but you've made great progress in the offseason. So I'm interested in your take on the balance of that, where it's like, yeah, some of these kids, they've been in the program, they know what to expect, they know the standard, but now it's time for them to actually step up and be the ones to perform on the field with a program that, you want the expectations to rise each year. How do you see that going into 2025?
Well, last year, real quick, let me just add, prior to me there, the last 3 years, there was no freshman football.
Right.
And down here is kind of weird in terms of South Jersey. Freshman football is like a novelty around. I think some people don't really so I want to make sure that our freshman football is important. See, I'm coming from a program that I started middle school football. So we didn't go with the Pop Warners and all that. We created a 7th to 8th grade school funded football that nobody did before. And then now it's 20 years later, everybody's running it and it's great. So we're focusing on our freshmen, and we're getting a freshman class. I'm very excited to say that all levels won last year. We had winning seasons in all 3 levels, and every level is running what we run. So if we move a kid up, they know our system, and we coach all the players together in different sections of the practice. So I think that was the strong part, is that we're developing these kids to be ready, which is right now. So going into this season, I told our coaches, you don't realize how young we are until the 5:15 bus shows up and the whole team needs it. So all that means is that these kids don't drive, and you don't realize it. It really kind of strikes home a little bit, going, wow. So us coaches are waiting for that 5:15 bus because nobody has a car ride at EHT, and everybody's spread out. But we're a young team, so when we do 7-on-7s this summer, a lot of carpooling is going to have to happen. But that's great. My first year at Barnegat, we didn't have any seniors. And those kids that were playing for sub-varsity for me, they were confident. And then all of a sudden they're playing varsity, we're nervous. Yeah. And we had to let them know that, you can do it, because body-wise, they can do it. It's just the brain going, I look up to these older guys and, they're dudes and I'm not. But maybe they just need some positive experience. And we went on and we made the playoffs our first year. Group 1 school. And I think this program's in the same position. We're young, but that doesn't mean it's an excuse. They just, you don't have experience. And the only reason you get experience is to get on the field and do it. So we are very excited about a lot of our players, our youth. We have an excellent freshman class that came in, and I love to talk about that later on what happened. So we have 35 freshmen. We have an excellent freshman class that now sophomore. We have a nice foundation of lower level guys pushing our upperclassmen to create a lot of excitement and a buzz to do stuff where a lot of people are counting us out, because we have a couple guys that are injured and not going to be cleared for the season, or maybe in the middle of the season. But that's all right. We're going to be all right. We got some guys that are working their tails off that I'm real excited about.
Yeah, you guys open up the season against Appliance. That should be a good one again. I know we've talked about before Warren Smith over there, his first year as head coach with the Braves. That should be a very exciting matchup. You know him from his days over at Lacey. So schedule's basically the same as last year, Coach, except a couple games are flipped in terms of the home and away. So I guess the blueprint I want to say is out there, and it is interesting because you mentioned the freshman class. You're very excited about this year. Right. And the incoming sophomores for 2025-26, they're going to be asked to step up a little bit more than they were last year when they were freshmen. So I find it fascinating when you're looking at the development of the young guys with a smaller senior class and, a smaller upperclassmen. You mentioned the 7-on-7s, and just a couple more for you on, how you see this unfolding. With the 7-on-7s, what do you hope to get from those types of evaluations? Are you looking for, we definitely want to win all these 7-on-7 battles, or is it more just like, I want to see standard development from June to July, and then by the time we hit the field in August, this is like taking another breath?
Well, when we do 7-on-7s, no matter where we're at, we run what we run. There are some teams that run 7-on-7 plays. They do things to win that day.
Yeah.
We want to get better for the season on what we do. So, we got a couple 7-on-7s that we're going to be doing, and I just want to see the kids compete. I want to see the kids bond. I want us to just get better. We want to get better. We either don't get better, or we get better, and that's all we're asking for. So we're not trying to. You don't win championships in the summer, but about the 8th graders, what we did, and I was really, really excited by getting. Our strength is our school spirit. We have Coach Street, the cheerleading coach, and Coach Wyckoff, the band director. And I said, like my first year, that these guys are committing so early. We need to do something. I don't have middle school football. We got to do something. So what I did was for 9 weeks, I lifted with the weight room guys in the middle school. So they would come at 6:30 to 7:30, and we would create a relationship. And we lift for 9 weeks. Then we did a combine at the end because we wanted to see how they were with testing. And then we did a signing day.
Yeah.
And why did we do a signing day? Because we want to make it important that these kids are coming to EHT. So what I did, I got a hold of Coach Street, the cheerleading head coach, Coach Wyckoff, the band director, 2 outstanding people in the community and our school. And they took their cheerleaders, they took the band, and we did a presentation in front of 300 plus people. And those guys came in a shirt and tie, those 8th graders, and they made a commitment that they are coming to EHT to play football. We put it on social media. Go on Instagram. You can watch it. But it was a proud day for me, seeing everybody come together. And we didn't put a skit on. It was something that we didn't practice. They came, we did it, and it's real. You can't practice excitement.
Yeah.
It's just something you got not. And we got a lot of excitement with the 8th graders. And of course, we do with our administration and our coaches for all sports. That made me proud. And we're going to do that every year. You come to EHT, we're going to promote you.
Yeah, I like that a lot. The fact that, you can look back on that 8th grade signing day, so to speak, 4 years from now and be like, that was really cool. Then it'll be exciting to see where those 8th graders, now incoming freshmen, are going to be by the time they're seniors within your program. So, Coach, the excitement's building for EHT again. Successful season last year. Again, every program takes their lumps in terms of what they want to build when they build a sustainable model. So you told me last year the motto was all in, and it was very similar to something that we had when I was actually at EHT playing for Coach DeRosa. We had all in, we had next man up, we had mottos and phrases that you could rally behind just like that. Is all in what you want your program to be modeled around once again this year, or is it something different here this year? I'll leave you here with that.
Well, I like to go tempo. Everything we do in life is tempo. When we take when we get in the weight room, we wait at that door. We don't want guys just walking in and all. No, you stay at that door, and we got to be fighting you to keep you out of the weight room. So when we blow the whistle, they sprint to their stations, right? Just like I want those kids to be the first guys in that classroom. I don't want them strolling in. In life, tempo is what happens. So when you go on the football field, we say it's sacred. When you go on that football field, you got a little bit of a hop to you. I hate when people walk to where they want to get to. I don't like it. So tempo to me is something that we preach and teach, and the guys are doing it. But that to me is very important. We can tell if we're going to have a good day or not by the way they enter the weight room or the field. And that kind of gives us a little bit of a heads up.
I love hearing that. Once again, the season opener is against Appliance on August 29th. And heck, we're already only 2 months away from the season. Coach, I appreciate your time, my man. It was good to talk to you. I'm really excited for EHT football here in year 3 under your regime. Of course, great to have Coach DeRosa back on the sideline. I'm excited to see what Coach Scanlon can cook up on the defensive side of things as well.
I want to say a couple things that I'm proud of that
Absolutely.
happened. Our EHT athletics with our track team with Coach Lucio, 10 straight county championships. Our baseball team with Coach Carmichael, 11 straight seasons of winning seasons. And our basketball coach, we just hired Coach Kessler from Shawnee, a Hall of Fame basketball coach, won multiple state championships. I'm excited about the culture of guys that we got around us with our recruiting. You don't have to go to a Catholic school to get recruited. We put 5 guys in the colleges. Matt Cable's going to Rowan. Jordan Sanchez is going to Widener. Sam Caccino's at Shippensburg. Larry Wilson and Kamel Gibson are both going to Hudson Valley Community College. And then we put 10 guys in colleges in 2 years. And we also, I don't know if you realize that we have a sophomore tight end that has 2 offers. Sam Houston State and Rhode Island, the first EHT guy to get it as a sophomore. And I just had a Power 5 guy in the Big Ten call me up that he may be getting an offer in July 21st when they come back from their break. So there's a lot of excitement. You want to go to college, which is great. But we got a lot of great things that I'm so proud of. And hopefully it goes and we start winning, keep it going. We want to be consistent. And guys like you, we want to be on your show because if we're on your show, we're doing something positive like you are. So thank you for having me on the show. And I'm excited to get to work on Tuesday.
I appreciate you, Coach. Again, all about tempo this year for EHT. Coach Rob Davis with me here on Cal One-on-One, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. Be sure to check out the rest of our content on the Cape Atlantic Live YouTube channel. Be sure to check out the upcoming football season, which will be streamed live each and every week here in 2025. We'll see you next time.